I've heard that Chinese people hate Americans. This must be due to communist propaganda.
Hello amazing viewer, delighted to have you once more at Comfort for Life. I bring to you compilations of TikTok and Red Note videos for educational purposes. If you are new here, consider subscribing, and to my returning viewers, I love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for keeping it up here. You guys are the real MVPs. I love and appreciate you.
Hey, what's up, America? I want to talk about China for a minute and my position when it comes to China.
I'm back again with another compilation, and allow me to pass this across. The misconceptions that I'm sharing, that we are trying to dismantle together about China, should not invalidate your personal opinion. Yeah, kindly, this is your time to shine. If you do not fall under this category, then prove us otherwise in the comment section. And for those who are also offended by the term American, I'm used to that term. If you do not also fall under that category, if you're an American and you feel like you're included in the conversation that does not concern you, kind of, by mentioning the name Americans, I don't know how a country ended up being named after an entire continent. I don't know how it happened, but kindly also let me know in the comment section. I'm an American from this place, but I don't fall under this category. This does not apply to me, and that will help. Kindly like the video for recommendation, subscribe if you're new here, and let's dive into this compilation.
First of all, the Chinese people do not hate Americans. Before this year, the Chinese people's attitudes towards the US could be divided into two camps. One group really liked the US and regarded it as a lighthouse for humanity. The other group disliked the US, believing that it practiced hegemony and bullied other countries. However, the dislike here was directed at the US government, not the American people. So, are there people who dislike Americans? To be honest, yes. The reason is that over the past 30 years, the US government has spread all kinds of outrageous propaganda in China, leading the Chinese people to generally believe that healthcare and education are free in the US. Groceries are very cheap. Americans can buy a large villa with a swimming pool after only 3 years of work. The government subsidizes $3,000 per month for each child born, and Americans only need to work for half a year and can travel for the rest of the year. As a result, while some people were envious, they also had questions about Americans. They wondered why, if they were already living in paradise, they were still so greedy. Therefore, after the Red Note incident this year, this kind of aversion to Americans has completely disappeared, because we found that Americans are actually ordinary people oppressed by oligarchs. It was only due to the information control of the oligarch-owned media that both sides have misunderstood each other for so long. Secondly, our government has never advocated hatred towards Americans. The education we received from a young age was that the American people are kind-hearted and that they are merely deceived by oligarchs and politicians. Although we once questioned this conclusion, after seeing the facts this year, we finally realized that it was all true.
I am so late to this. Did y'all know that Chinese people in China gave Trump a nickname called Chuan Jianguo? I had heard of it, but I just found out that the reason was not what I thought. Chuan is the transliteration of Trump, and Jianguo means to construct a country. Trump is known for his America First policies, so I thought that Chuan Jianguo was referring to, putting America first and constructing America. Nope. That guo, that country, is China. Because Trump doesn't make America look good on the international stage, and indirectly has made China look a lot better. This nickname came to popularity during his first term. During that time, he blocked Chinese companies from purchasing American chips, so Chinese companies made their own chips. He made a comment that the Korean peninsula used to be part of China during a period of heightened tension between North and South Korea. During COVID, as much as he condemned China for the pandemic and spread a lot of anti-Asian rhetoric, the United States had the most number of cases and deaths. According to netizens, he made China great again. In addition to that, he was also born around the time of the founding of the PRC. And during that time, Chinese people tend to name their kids after historic events. So Jianguo was a popular first name among that generation. I can't believe that I lived 8 years of my life thinking that Jianguo was referring to constructing America. Besides Chuan Jianguo, another nickname he has is Dong Wang, the king of knowing. Because apparently he knows everyone and everything very well.
Why do some Chinese people like Trump? I know it sounds strange. He launched the trade war, banned Huawei, blamed China for the pandemic. And now that he's back in the White House, he's still keeping up the pressure. So, what's the admiration? Some Chinese like Trump, not in spite of that toughness, but because of how he disrupted the US from within. To then, he exposed Americans' political chaos, brought deep division into the spotlight, and made the West look less stable. On Chinese social media, he even got a nickname, 川建国, Trump, the man who helps China rise. But there is more. Trump is a businessman, and in Chinese culture, that matters. Business people are transactional. They care less about ideology, more about the deals. So even if he is harsh, many believe with Trump, you know the price, you can negotiate. And here's something people often miss. Many Chinese also dislike secretive politics. And Trump, for better or worse, sees the quiet part out. He made politics and diplomacy feel more transparent, even crude. And some found that refreshing. Not everyone here supports him. Plenty see him as reckless or self-serving. But the fascination is real. And maybe that tells us something deeper about how Chinese people see power, strategy, and results. I'm Yuan, a Chinese scholar unpacking how this country really works, one story at a time.
This is the person who came to mind for the first time when I heard about the hatred from Chinese to Americans. He came to mind, and I'm sure you know this person. He's very famous.
Of Chinese, how do you get around China? Allow me to introduce the cutting edge technology made in China. When you put on those glasses, it's instant translation everywhere. We're going to stop some visitors. We're going to have them try it out, see if this is really that good.
Sometimes stupidity and genius can be the flip side of the same coin. Donald Trump's tariff may seem stupid to a lot of people because it's gonna hurt economy of other country, also U.S. economy. Seems stupid, but it's genius idea to give benefit to the big corporation. Because think about it, when the tariff destroy the small business, the startups, their share goes to the big corporation who can weather through the chaos. Rich become richer. It works the same way as tax cut to the super rich, because corporation is the super rich. So the stupid tariff works as a charm. Genius.
Hey, what's up, America? I want to talk about China for a minute and my position when it comes to China. Because a lot of Americans want their manufacturing back in the United States, and rightly so. But at the same time, a lot of Americans really don't have a problem with China. And I'm one of those people. My desire to bring jobs back to the United States and factories comes obviously from one of patriotic nationalism, as anybody in their own nation should have. That's exactly the position China takes, and I wouldn't expect anything less. At the same time, I don't fault China for the United States' companies being put over there and our labor force going to China. Any other country would do the same thing if it benefited their national interests. China understood that basically American corporations and politicians were fucking their own people over, and they took advantage of that, just like we would do if the tables were turned. But we're also not stupid. We understand that corruption in companies and government is the reason that all of our jobs in manufacturing went to China. We understand it wasn't the Chinese government or the people of China that did this to us. It was our own interests here in the United States that betrayed us. Companies like Walmart, Apple, and Intel, they knowingly fucked over their own workforce and working class here in America so that they could get cheap labor and so they could increase their profit margin. China just facilitated what they always had. Now, did China make a great deal of money? You bet your fucking ass they did. But you have to understand, we would have had that money had it not been for our own corporations selling us out, hating the American worker and choosing the Chinese laborer over us. So overall, this has nothing to do with China, at least initially. It has to do with the failure of greed and capitalism, which was bound to happen anyway because our leaders at the time were corrupt as holy fuck. Now you have Donald Trump trying to pull that back, and our corrupt leaders are upset about it. But what did China do with the monetary gains from this? They built up their cities and infrastructure and military. That's what they did. The same exact shit we used to do and we should be doing now. But arguably, that back and forth that companies here in America sold you out on, that's why China has such a good infrastructure and why ours is crumbling and looks like diarrhea in most cases. We would have China's infrastructure if it wasn't for our corporations banging us out. So don't be mad at China. Be mad at greed here in America. Stamp that out first and we can have something better.
I don't think I should give a conclusion on how you should view things after watching this video right here. I just want you to see how relaxed Americans are when they go to China. This is a simple English teacher in China. Guess how much she earns? Check the living condition in China. Adding on free housing, sometimes walking to work, everything around you. You can just walk to a grocery store. You can, like, just imagine how much they save. And once Chinese are looking for English teachers, the priority is always Americans. We are looking for an American, a native speaker of the language. And yeah, and that's the top. Like, this lady is explaining it more. And well, she went on to say that Western in China live in a paradise. Let's listen what she has to say.
Let's talk about foreigners' life in China because it is heaven. So the first thing first is salary. Normally, Westerners earn 3 times as the local Chinese do. Let's take the English teacher for example. A foreign kindergarten teacher in Shenzhen gets paid 26,000 to 30,000 RMB per month. Well, that doesn't sound that much, but bear in mind we're still a developing country. So for 30,000, you can live a very comfortable life in any big city like Beijing, Shanghai, or Shenzhen if you don't have kids. And you can use 30% of your salary to rent a 3-bedroom apart, which looks like this. But the salary for a normal Chinese kindergarten teacher who teaches English is not even half of what the foreigner teacher have. And the second thing is dating. If you're mediocre king, come to China or any other Asian countries, you can find a 10 out of 10 Instagram baddie. I'm using a lady boy here for example, but you know what I mean. The Oxford study is real. The third thing is your life is just so easy in China as a Westerner. Chinese people will go above and beyond to help you. There was actually a thing in China as a business for Westerners to report your case to the police on your behalf because the police will respond faster and your problem will guarantee be solved. So yeah, if you want to restart your life somewhere, Asia is great for you.